Welcome everybody. Welcome back to another Chef Look Cooks. We're continuing our series on patron favorites. So we're doing dishes that you all have chosen for us to cook here. Various different ones. There is definitely sort of an Asian theme going on, but I'm okay with that. I like a lot of Asian cooking. This month we're going to be cooking ramen. So ramen is a really fun dish. I'm sure you guys have had it in all sorts of different forms, from instant ramen you get from the grocery store to really like high class things you can get if you go out to eat. It's one of the coolest sort of niches of cooking, in my opinion, because it's a Japanese tradition, but it's not traditional at all. A lot of Japanese cooking is very, very traditional, sushi being like one of the ones that's sort of like thrown out there to the forefront. There's a very specific way you do every single aspect of the dish. Ramen doesn't really have that. There's some core rules to ramen. There's sort of 4 parts, some people would say 5. The broth, the tare, which is sort of like the seasoning, the noodles, and then the toppings. And that's kind of it. There's no real rules about what constitutes a broth, what constitutes a tare. There are like some classics, soy sauce or shoyu being one of them. Salt, just literally salt, can be a tare as a seasoning, nothing else. And for broths, there are certain broths that again have like sort of come up into popularity. Tonkatsu being one of my absolute favorite ones, which is a pork broth that's bones boiled down until the bones actually start to dissolve into the broth. So it's fatty, it gets milky and white. The dish that we're going to do today would be something I would serve on a tonkatsu with the various sides we're going to put on. But I wanted to make this as accessible as possible, and especially with Alpha Gal going around. We're going to do a veggie broth. Everything here will be veggie, no butter, no anything like that. This is actually going to be vegan, which is fun for ramen as well. And that's kind of the best thing. All of these dishes can be modified to add beef or pork or butter, or even just butter can really change the corn dish entirely. We're not going to do that today, just to try and keep it as accessible as possible. But without any further ado, we're going to get started. I have 2 pots of boiling water going right now. My one in the back is where I'm going to be cooking my noodles when we get around to serving. And this will soon become my pot of broth. And I'm just going to keep that boiling here. You'll often see that a lot in ramen shops. They'll have a big pot of broth, or usually they'll have a big pot of multiple different broths. They'll have a chicken one, a pork one, a beef one, and then they'll probably have a tonkatsu or like a house special broth. They'll just have them going all the time. They're adding things into it, they're taking broth out, and they just kind of are these perpetual, really tasty things. We're starting with just water, and water can be a broth for this soup. There's nothing saying that you can't take water, white salt, basic noodles, and put it in a bowl and not call it ramen. That's ramen as far as I'm concerned. It has everything that's required. You might want to put some scallions on top, but you don't need to. It's still ramen. The noodles are really what make it ramen. If you're gonna point anything out to the dish that makes it ramen, it's noodles. I know a lot of people will eat ramen without any broth at all. They cook it in the broth and they take it out and they eat it kind of dry. But the noodles are really what do it. And the noodles are very, very simple. Most of the time, they're just a water-based noodle. So you use flour and water, you knead the crap out of it, and you get a really nice noodle. Most places will add some form of calcium in there. Calcium carbonate, I think is what it is, or baking powder. And that gives it a certain bite. It gives it a certain texture when you cook it, so that it sort of crisps in your mouth. No matter how much you cook it, it still is kind of bouncy and springy. It makes it hell to deal with, though, when you're trying to knead it. I know a bunch of people who have broken attachments on their KitchenAid dough attachments trying to knead this dough. It's a dough that when they tell you to knead it, they don't even tell you to knead it by hand. You can knead it by hand. Most of the time when you see a big ramen people, they have these big long sticks, kneading doughs. Oh yeah, okay, you're good. I guess I'm gonna get this heated up too. They have these big long kneading sticks that they like lever in, and they use their body weight to knead this dough before they cut out the ramen noodles. It gets kneaded a lot, that develops a lot of gluten, that's what that springiness is for. And then the baking powder helps it to get really dry and have perfect texture. It's a really cool noodle to make. It's very simple, it doesn't require a lot. The noodle itself is vegan, it's literally just water, and then again, a lot of times calcium carbonate as well. It's a very dry noodle, which is why it has to be worked a lot to get that moisture to move through. It's really fun. If you ever get a chance to make your own noodles, be prepared for a lot of work. It is a passion project to make noodles. A lot of the big places that do ramen all the time, that's like half of their day is making the noodles. They just make noodles after noodles after noodles after noodles, and they're really delicious. So while I'm talking about this, I'm going to start cooking some things. We're going to start off with our corn. It's probably one of the easiest dishes to make, and it doesn't really matter, if it cools down a little bit. One thing is that our broth will be very, very, very hot. Our noodles will be very, very, very hot. So our toppings don't have to be super hot. They can be if they were just freshly made, but they can be cold from the fridge. In fact, I have some toppings that are in the fridge that we'll be taking out later. They can be hot right out of a pan, but they don't have to be. They can kind of be from wherever you get them. One thing that's really nice about that, of course, is that you can kind of pull this dish together from things you just find. You have a little bit of bouillon in the cabinet, you use that. You know, ramen noodles would be what I would use, because again, like I said, noodles are the core of this dish. But if you have spaghetti, I'm not gonna tell anyone, okay? The core of the idea is that you are taking broth, something very, very flavorful. In this case, we're gonna be using miso, which is a classic that you'd put with a tonkatsu. And then you add your noodles in, and just as many toppings as you could possibly fit on that bowl. And we have some really nice bowls that I found in the basement today that are going to be perfect for ramen. I'm going to put your noodles in there with some broth on top. You'll have tons of space to just load it with toppings. And I'm just going to lay out our toppings out here, so you'll be able to top it with whatever you want to eat. You don't have to put anything on it if you don't want to. The broth itself should be very good. I am just using Better Than Bouillon. This is not an official endorsement. It's just that this is very compact and easy to find. If you have the time to make your own broth, you should, whether it be meat broth or bone broth, or just the veggie broth. You want to cook it low and slow for a very long time. The only broth that you don't do that with is tonkatsu, where you literally will boil it for 10 hours. It will steam your whole house up. You will be incredibly hydrated. You have to keep adding water, but that dish, you boil the crap out of those bones. You don't want anything left of them. Most broth, when you make it for ramen or for pho, is a similar process. You do a very low and slow approach. You barely bring it to a simmer because you don't want to break apart the vegetables or the protein. You don't want those particles in the broth. You want it to be clear and just have the flavor. So you're almost making like a tea as opposed to a broth. One of the biggest sort of mistakes you can make when you're making a broth for home is to boil it. In general, when you're making broth, you want to just barely bring it up to that temperature, and you're basically infusing the water as opposed to like grabbing the particles out. Every time you boil, you break up those little bits of cells and they dissolve in the water. And that's not bad. You're getting more fiber in your meal, but if you want like a really, really good broth experience with ramen especially, you want something that's nice and clarified, except for tonkatsu. Tonkatsu is like the one, there's always an exception in ramen. That's one of my favorite parts about it. You're never going to find somebody that's like, this is the way it has to be done. If they're saying that, they're not cooking ramen, they're cooking their dish, and they can call it whatever they want, but it's not ramen as far as I'm concerned. So the corn is really simple. We're just going to get some oil in this pan, nice and hot. If I was doing this at home, I'd be using butter. I love butter. There was a period of my life where I didn't like butter, and I've seen the error of my ways. We're back on the butter train. But that's the best part about cooking too, is you're allowed to change your tastes over time. You don't have to like stay consistent. I've never used this corn before. Usually when you get frozen corn, it's got little like bits of ice on it and stuff. But this corn is like really, really clean, so I'm not, whoops. Nobody saw that. So I'm not even going to bother like straining it or trying to rinse off the ice. If there was ice in here, I'd probably try and like strain this with some hot water and then dry it out on a paper towel or a towel, just to get it as dry as possible. But the only moisture that's in here right now is the moisture that was already in the corn. So I kind of like this brand as far as using cooking corn in this method. In the middle of the summer, if you can get some fresh corn on the cob, that's going to be your best bet. But right now we don't have that, so we're going with this. Because our broth is going to be very well seasoned, we're going to be using tare, miso tare. I'm not going to put any salt in this. I'm just going to put pepper in it. That way the corn is going to be sweet and spicy with the pepper, but it's not going to have any salt. So that's going to be a nice contrast to my broth and then some of my other salty sides. So the kimchi and the mushrooms are both going to be getting some form of salt in them, so they'll be nice and salty and savory. This will be more sweet and spicy. It'll give us a nice sort of like way to pick what we want our ramen to end up tasting like at the end of the day. And so I've just got this on as high as it possibly can go. The first step here is I'm going to be cooking out the moisture from the corn, and once that moisture starts to cook out, they're going to start to brown at the edges, and that's where I'm going to put my pepper in there. And this is some bourbon barrel smoked pepper. Somebody, maybe one of you, gave this to me, and it's been great. I've been using it at home, but I think for this, it's going to be a really nice application. Our pepper grinder here at the library is horrible, and so this is a great sort of like easy way to get that nice like pepper taste. I want this corn to taste like corn and pepper and pretty much nothing else. Again, if I was using butter, I'd want that flavor in there as well, but for this, I'm really excited to see how this turns out. It's a little intense, it's very smoky, so when you do go to put this in your ramen later, do keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to try a little bit before you put it on there, but this tastes like smoke. It's almost like having liquid smoke mixed in with our pepper. Really, really nice. And we're gonna put a lot on here too when we get around to it, more than like you're probably used to. Sweet. So I'm just going to maximize contact with this pan as much as possible. And I'm going to do my mushrooms last because I want this pan to be as hot as possible when I go to cook my mushrooms. I'm just going to keep using the same pan over and over again as we go. The mushrooms are going to be kind of glazed. They're going to get cooked down in the sauce we're going to put in there. So it's going to kind of like glaze the pan as well. Whereas the kimchi is going to be a little bit more watery. It's not really kimchi, but it's going to be more watery, so it should be easy enough to just wipe out the pan. While this is going, I'm going to start messing around with my broth and getting that ready. This says it makes 38 cups, and I have 26 in here. So we're going to see what happens when I put in, like, you know, 2/3, let's say. It smells really good. And we're just going to try and get this to dissolve in here, and then we're just going to keep boiling it. That'll help sort of like get that flavor cooked out a little bit. Bouillon can sometimes be a little awkward, especially the dry stuff. It almost tastes powdery. So the longer you cook it, if you cook your bouillon for a little bit before you like actually eat it, it can kind of like mellow out that flavor. So again, I'm going to use a pretty good amount of this, and then we're going to taste it. I don't want my broth to be too salty. This does have a decent amount of salt, but it's not like insanely salty. So
is that a vegetable?
Yeah, it's veggie based. Yep. So this is a veggie, and one of the cool things about bouillon is veggie bouillon is probably one of the, like, I will make a meat broth no problem, and it's going to taste pretty good. I have good skills for that. With a veggie broth, like, I've never made veggie broth that tasted as good as veggie bouillon. I don't know what they do to it, what they put in there. They have become pros at this. So I usually will use veggie bouillon over trying to make my own stock. I do, though, often if you're ever cooking and you have like onion ends or celery ends, I'll put them in my freezer, and then you can make a stock with that later. That works pretty well. But again, it's never as good as the professional bouillon. I don't know what they're doing, but they know what they're doing. Is really what it is. So I always will use it. And this is one of my favorite brands. There's a company that we get from IFP that I used to use when I was in the kitchens, and that is probably my favorite. But finding that in stores is a little hard. It's like a white container with like a little like leaf thing, Nor or Knox maybe. I'm not entirely possible sure which one it is, but that one's pretty good. So this looks a little thin to me as far as flavor, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. Again, I just want it to taste like something, because our main flavor from this dish is going to be coming from our broth. Our broth is going to add vitamins and nutrients and everything that we put in that broth to make it, but the flavor is going to come from our tare. And so our broth is going to end up tasting like miso. I'm going to put a little bit of mirrin and sesame oil in here, and that's going to make it a little bit thinner of a paste, and then that's what we're going to use. We're going to get about a teaspoon of that in each one of your bowls before I put the broth over that. That'll dissolve, that'll add our salt and a lot of our flavor. I still want this to taste good though, so I might put some more in this depending on how this goes. Let's take a quick little sip. Oh, that's pretty good just the way it is. I'm going to put just a touch more in there though. So this is for me later when I eat my ramen. I got a lot of spoons today because we're dealing with liquids, and you always want to change your spoon. Even when you're dealing with hot liquids, it's just a good idea. For safety's sake. Oh, food safety. So that just touched my mouth, and so who knows what's in my mouth, you know? I mean, I know it's safe. My chef used to always say, you know, my hands are always clean, my mouth is always clean. Like, why do I need to change my spoon? But when the health inspector comes, we change our spoons. What chef says is a lot different than what chef does when the health inspectors are around. I'm not naming any names, by the way, internet.
I saw a video where there was a guy who was who used food to cook with, and the food he tasted, he used the cooking spoon before he tasted it.
Oh yeah, use the same one. That's really smart. A lot of people will use, if you're doing not a liquid, well, even a liquid, you can use your hand too. A lot of people will do that, but then that gets sort of awkward if you're going to then cut with that hand. That's perfect. The knife hand is usually, if you're going to be eating off of it, you want to use your knife hand because that usually doesn't actually touch the food, just in case you want to. But if you're in a restaurant and like they give you like a whole bunch of sauces at the table, I was just in Mexico, it's like a classic thing. I like will always just like take a little bit of each hot sauce and eat it. And I swear when I do it, I see the chefs in the back like, oh, I know that guy. He knows what he's doing. Always try all the sauce. Okay, so we're starting to get some color on this. This is perfect. This isn't going to take that much longer. I don't want it to get like caramelized. I do want it to still taste like corn and not sort of like have it fully get around to being sugary. but that color is telling me that this corn is starting to lose some of its moisture, which means it's gonna have the right texture when we go to eat it. Yeah, question in the back. Oh. Yeah, totally. It's totally fine. The biggest difference that you're ever going to have with different oils is going to be their smoke point or when they start to burn. So with cooking at high heat like this, we also just don't have olive oil right now. I didn't want to buy some more. This is one of my most expensive meals. I'm very excited because I got all of my favorite sauces in the world: seasoned rice vinegar, tamari, mirrin, and hoisin. So this alone was like half of our budget. Not that we have I'm still doing it just for posterity. We're feeding 24 of you for $80 today, which is, to me, feels pretty good. I like that. That's not bad food cost if I was having to build this out, but I would never do that. This is free every time, always. All right, so I feel pretty good about this corn. I'm just gonna give it a quick little taste just to make sure it's good corn. I gotta remember these guys. Okay, cool.
Where did you find that?
It's a Kronig's. Yeah, so I went to Kronig's for this because they always have the best Asian ingredients. Like if you ever are trying to find something you can't find in Stop and Shop, it's probably at Kronig's for that specific reason. Again, no official endorsements, just what I've found as a chef on this island. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of this pepper on there, and we're gonna be pretty intense with it. I'm gonna start with a teaspoon. I'm just gonna see what that looks like. I'll probably do 2. Yeah. Again, we're not eating this corn, right? Like we're gonna eat it in our dish, but this is a condiment. So like we're seasoning them like they're condiments. And it's gonna be the same when we do the mushrooms later. We're gonna have a pretty heavy seasoning agent in there because we want them to be very heavy. All right, let's put that on. Black pepper, crushed black pepper. This is particularly bourbon barrel smoked black pepper. So I actually can't speak. This has got to be vegan too, but so it's gonna have a little bit extra smokiness as well, which I really like. I think that'll be kind of fun. In the summer, it's just normal cracked pepper, or sometimes some red pepper flakes if I feel up to it. And then I like to do this with a lot of butter. But again, that's when I'm doing like a proper tonkatsu that has been cooked. I was lucky enough this year to get a whole pig from the Fork to Pork woman, which is awesome. And part of that was a bag that's just labeled pork bones. So I'm gonna get to make some local Martha's Vineyard tonkatsu broth this summer, and I'm so excited. As soon as I get my first ear of corn, it's happening. This is probably my favorite side for ramen ever, and it's so simple. It's literally just 3 ingredients. And it's mainly because I just really like corn, and then black pepper is just like, oh, it's so good. I actually might even put a little bit more in there. It is smoked though. Let me just double check that. Yeah, it needs a little more. It's good though. It tastes more like smoky and not as enough like pepper, so we're going a little more pepper, and that'll get us good. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, the ramen is basically done at this point. Like my broth is now done, my noodle water is boiling. Like I could make a pot of ramen right now. We just wouldn't have anything to put on top of it. So we're gonna spend most of our time really cooking. We're not really cooking ramen so much as we're cooking the toppings. And then we're obviously going to talk about the different aspects when I go to put it together, but we're really sort of focusing on the toppings right now. And for me, that's where most of the exploration in ramen craft really comes from. You can do a lot of fun things with the broth. You can use a lot of fun things for broth, but the toppings are where all the fun is. So let's see, kimchi is going to go in that one, and then let's do corn next. Perfect. So we're going to take this out, and again, it'll stay fairly warm, but it'll probably be about room temperature by the time you guys eat it, but that's totally fine because you'll have a really nice hot broth for that to go into. Yeah. Let's see if I can get this back on there in time. Yes, I got it. Perfect. Okay, so that's our black pepper corn. Like you said, really simple, really easy, amazing, and super delicious. We're gonna just jump right back into our next one. We're going into the napa kimchi right now. My water is boiling in the back too, so at some point during this, I'm gonna get my soft-boiled eggs done as well. One of the really cool things about ramen is you're already boiling water for noodles, so you can use it to cook your eggs as well. A lot of times when I'm cooking my noodles, if I'm using fresh noodles, I'll put them in at the same time. They take about the same amount of time to cook, so that's really fun too. You pop the eggs out and then straighten the noodles right after that. This is napa cabbage, really cool cabbage for all sorts of different reasons. The leaves will peel off in really nice pieces like this, so you can use it to like wrap something up, make like a stuffed cabbage. The leaves are a little bit thinner, and it has this really, really beautiful stalk that's super tender as well. One of my favorite cabbages for eating raw, but it's also incredibly good for cooking. Usually, for me at least, when I run into this, I am running into it in kimchi. And so this dish is called KimCheating Cabbage, and this is for if you don't have kimchi or you don't like kimchi. Kimchi has a pretty intense flavor because of the items we put in there and the fermentation process. So this is going to give us a fairly similar flavor profile. That was turning off. That's nice and hot still. Similar flavor profile to kimchi without actually tasting exactly like kimchi. It's going to be sweeter, but it's still going to have that sort of like deep, flavorful, and spicy aspect that we find from kimchi, but it won't be as like intense. And we're not putting any fish sauce in here, which can sometimes be one of the agents that you use in a fermented kimchi. So these chili peppers are actually from when Rizwan taught people how to make kimchi here at the library. I don't know if you guys got to take part in that, but these are some of the best chili powders. This is like the classic powder that you'd use for making chili kimchi. It's really, really nice. It's not super spicy. It is a little bit spicy though, and I'm not going to hold back. So if you don't like spice, don't have this dish. I'm going to put as much chili as I feel like I should put in there. So this one will be this sort of spicy part. What I'm doing now is I'm just separating the leaves, making sure they're fairly clean. Usually napa is really, really clean. You'll occasionally have some spotting, but that's just growth spot. That's not dirt, because it grows really, really tight. And most cabbages in general, their inner leaves aren't super dirty, which is nice. You just have to sort of worry about the outside. And then I'm stacking them up, and this is going to help me later when I go to cut these up. I'm looking for cubes about that big. When we're doing kimchi, we'd probably even go bigger than that. Sometimes I'd see people who'll just take this whole half and just shove it right in the kimchi pot. Kimchi tends to be a little bit chunkier as far as texture, but we want something that's like, a decent size, something you'll be able to eat with a spoon hopefully later. I do have forks just in case when we get around to the eating stage. We'll see how it goes. For me, when I'm eating ramen, I usually like a nice little soup spoon and chopsticks for picking out my toppings. And so I'm just peeling these out, and then as I go, I cut the core down more. I could cut all the way up, but then I'd lose this little bit here, and I hate wasting food so much. I'm actually going to leave that just the way it is. So, perfect. Now we've got these all stacked up, and I did sort of separate these into different sizes. So these are my big ones, these are my small ones, and this is my tiniest one. So the big ones I'm going to cut into 3 long strips, and then from there, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to kind of cube these up. And I'm going a little bit smaller at the crunchy end, and then I'm going to go bigger as I get to the leaves, because the leaves are going to wilt down. The general idea being that I want something that when it's cooked, it's going to fit in my mouth without giving me too much trouble, because I'm going to be slurping up broth here. It's going to be going everywhere. Ramen's a really messy experience. It's a really loud experience. The best you can do to save your clothing, the better. All right, awesome. What's that?
What is kimchi?
Oh, kimchi. So it's kimchi. Great question. Kimchi is a fermented cabbage dish. So you take napa cabbage like this, you cut it up. I would usually probably do it something like this. You salt the leaves, you make like a salt rub. It's usually either dehydrated shrimp or fish sauce mixed with this chili powder, scallions, and any number of different things. Some people put carrots in there, some people put daikon radish. You can put literally anything you want, usually in the brassica family. You rub it down with the salt mixture. It's usually a 3% to 5% salt to vegetable mass ratio. And then you put it in a crock, put a weight on it to remove all excess air. It usually forms like a little liquid top, and then you do a lacto fermentation or a lactic acid fermentation. And after a couple weeks, you get kimchi basically. So it's sort of like sauerkraut, if you know sauerkraut, but usually a lot spicier, and it's got a kind of like a fishy aspect. Not always, but a lot of times. Either from dried shrimp or from a fish sauce. So really, really tasty, absolutely amazing condiment. Goes great on ramen, goes great on just like white rice, honestly, if you're into it. So these smaller ones, I'm just going to cut them in half and then do the same process. And this can be rough. You really don't need it to be too crazy. If I was doing kimchi, I'd probably just be tearing this apart with my hands. But we're doing, I want to have like some, it's actually a lot faster to do it this way. The reason I'd be doing it with my hands though is I'd have like a bowl of the paste. I'd be grabbing the leaves and tearing up and rubbing the paste onto them as I go. This is a really good dish just to eat as well. This is something I would have as a side, or even just like a whole meal over some white rice. I absolutely love cooked cabbage or sweat down cabbage. I don't want to get too much pepper in there. So I didn't put any oil in there. I just used whatever oil was left over from the what are they called? Corn. Because this is going to start releasing moisture pretty fast here, and we're going to have plenty of liquid in there to deal with. It shouldn't end up sticking. Like good in this last piece, I'm just going to quarter it. So I kind of cut it one way and then turned it, and then from there I'm just going to do nice big chunks. Perfect. So I'm going to put a whole bunch of scallions in here. I'm going to, I have 2 bunches, so I'm going to cut up one to go in with the cabbage and another that we'll have as a side to put on top of our ramen. I just want to make sure I'm not losing too much moisture back there because that's where we're going to be cooking our noodles later. I might just pour a little bit more in there real quick. We're using the knife. I didn't realize these are rubber bands. Oops. Let me just get some water in this back here. Perfect. Oh, it's smelling good already. And those are already starting to go down. You can hear the water sort of boiling out of them. We'll eventually start to get some cooling up at the bottom. Yeah, we got that on high again. Great.
Well, all the liquid in kimchi is from
Yeah, it's from the cabbage. Yep, you don't add anything. The salt breaks down the cell walls and starts to, I think it's osmosis is what it's called, starts to release the liquid from there. You can do it with sugar too, but salt works a lot better. With sugar it's called maceration, I believe. I think it's called that with salt too. And yeah, that breaks down the cell walls, gets the liquid coming out, and then that liquid is exactly what you use to form a barrier, an oxygen barrier, because you want an anaerobic environment, which means no oxygen to do. There's not very many bacteria that can grow in that environment. There's the botulinum bacteria, which is very dangerous, and then there's the lactobacillus, which is very great. And they kind of hate each other. You usually only get one or the other, but it's pretty easy to tell if you're getting botulism in your kimchi. And the botulism doesn't like spicy peppers at all, which is another reason why they're a really great thing that was added in here to sort of protect people who are eating that fermented food. But in general, the lactobacillus, I believe is what it is everywhere. It's in everything. It's on my hands pretty much all the time. It's in these greens. It's in that cabbage already. It's everywhere. So if you once you sort of start the process and get that liquid in there, it tends to take over and go crazy. And it really, really likes that anaerobic environment. So the less oxygen you can introduce into the process, the better. And then once it gets there, you're good to go. Botulinum is usually more problematic when you have temperature changes. So when you're dealing with canning and stuff, where you've gone up in temperature and then gone down, because when you go up, you sort of kill everything and you start fresh. So any bacteria can take over. With a process like this, if I was making actual kimchi, there's going to be really no temperature change. And so because of that, the sort of dominant bacteria, which is probably going to be that lactobacteria, is going to just go wild and kill everything else that's in its way. So botulism is really more of a concern when you are having that really high temperature change, which with kimchi and most fermented foods you're never really dealing with, apart from kombucha. Kombucha will do that, but kombucha is a different process. That's a totally different sort of beast that is converting those sugars into more of an alcohol, but still similar situation. And now you'll have. That's why when you're making kombucha, you have to make sure your tea is cooled down to a certain point, so you don't go through what's called the TDZ, the temperature danger zone, which, let's see, it's 41 to 136 or something like that. It's basically where bacteria grows the best, and it's where you want to keep your food out of all the time if you are cooking let's just say 155. In general, you know, when you're cooking like meat to doneness, 155 is sort of like, or 150 is sort of the lowest you can stop and still be like food safe. And that's because it's out of the TDZ, the temperature danger zone. But you know, if people like rare food or rare or even blue beef, I'm not going to stop them. They're going to get what they want. So we're going to cut these. I am going to cut them fairly chunky for the whites. I'm going to put most of the whites in here with the kimchi. I'm going to save the greens for going on top. But if you only had one of these, you know, I'd maybe split them up and do, you know, all the way through for there. But this, I think this is just going to work a little bit easier for us. Perfect. So let's put all of these in here. And this cabbage is almost done already, which is nice. I do want it to be kind of crunchy. I'm not going to cook it completely through. I'm not like braising it like I would with like a normal cabbage, where I really want all like the crunchy bits. Normal cabbage is mostly crunchy bits anyways to get soft. I just want the leaves to be wilted. The scallions to be a little bit cooked so they're not super oniony, which isn't going to take very long at all. And then I'm going to go ahead and glaze it with that sauce that I'm going to make right now. Let's go ahead and get these guys in here for you all to put on top. There's not tons, but we will have to share. I know you guys are pretty good at that. Okay, awesome. So that's looking nice. I'm going to turn that down a little bit because it's pretty much done at this point. And we're going to go ahead and make our sauce here. So let's see. For the cabbage, we want some chili flake. There we go. We're going to do a tablespoon. So I just have a teaspoon right here, so I'm just going to measure out a couple of these. 3. We are going to do some rice vinegar. I have seasoned rice vinegar. I really like using seasoned rice vinegar for applications like this where I'm trying to use it to season my dish. I didn't put any salt in here, for instance. If I'm using it for like a salad dressing or something, I will use unseasoned rice vinegar. Or if I'm just like cooking in a dish that's like a lot bigger, or there's certain things. If I'm going to put like soy in here as well, I would probably use unseasoned because the soy is going to give me my salt. But this has sugar and salt in it. It's really, really tasty. Compared to normal rice vinegar, it's kind of wild. They have the same flavor, but this one is just like almost like candy, basically. We want 2 tablespoons of this. And the reason we're putting rice vinegar in here is to sort of like be a fake fermentation. So that lacto fermentation creates like a lactic acid, which gives us a sort of like sour flavor that we get from kimchi. So this is sort of giving us that aspect. And then the mirrin is in here. Mirrin, again, this is sweetened again. You can't really get mirrin that's not seasoned, but it's rice wine. It's sake basically that has been infused with lots of sugar. If you can't get this or you don't want to get this, maple syrup will work just fine. You can use honey, you can use agave, you can use pretty much any sweetener you want. You could just use sugar if you wanted to, but I really like mirrin. The reason I like mirrin is it's got that sort of like deep, it's fermented just like the kimchi would be, so it gives us that sort of like fermenty deep flavor, and so that's why I like using it. It's also just really tasty. Don't drink it though. I know it says wine on it. Don't do it. I don't know if when I was a kid, my mom got seasoned wine for cooking with, and one day I was like, oh, I'm going to try it. It's so horrible. It's so horrible. Don't do it ever. So that's a simple little sauce. This would be a great dressing too. Like throw a little bit of oil in there. You'd be good to go. But we're going to use it on our cabbage right now. And I'm just going to give this a quick little taste. I got a lot of spoons today. Oh, that's right. This is the one for the corn. Oh yeah. Oh, so good. Okay, cool. That's what I'm talking about. So we're going to turn this up just so it's nice and hot when we put this liquid in there. With the dishes really hot, we're putting a fairly cold liquid in there. It's gonna start to boil really fast. It's gonna bond to the hot food really quick. We don't want to cook this for too long after we put the liquid in there. We don't want to necessarily glaze it, but I do want to season it. And so I'm just gonna get this nice and hot again and then pop it right in there. Sounds good to me. Let's go. And as you can see, there's plenty of chili pepper in there, so this is not going to be a mild dish. And we're just going to mix that all up. Get it nice and coated. And as the heat is applied to that pepper, thyme would have done the same thing. The pigment's going to start to dissolve into the water, and it's going to turn this a little bit red, which is nice. That's what we're looking for. With kimchi, you know, as you rub it into the sauce and the water starts to release, the same thing happens, and that's why kimchi is incredibly bright red and will stain everything. But it's also incredibly delicious. Okay, cool. That's pretty good. I'm just going to try. That's pretty tasty. All right, we'll turn that off. We'll go ahead and get that in our next bowl here. And that's going to sit and just keep marrying all those flavors. It's almost too big. There we go. And it's just going to get better and better as it sits and does that. You're going to run out of space for all your ramen toppings, I promise. I got more in the fridge, I'm telling you. For this, I would just probably take like a couple, like just a little bit of that white, and then you're good to go. And if you want to dig deep in there and get some of the sauce, that is a great sort of extra addition into your sauce. This is boiling nice, great. Get everything out of there, turn this bad boy back on. We're going into mushroom time. Okay, sweet. While we're doing that, I'm going to try and get my eggs going here as well. Let's stop boiling. So I'm going to get myself an ice bath ready. It's only going to take me about 6 minutes, so that's right, I made ice cream. How many of you at home, when you empty the ice maker, assuming you have one of these still, fill it back up right away? Yeah, me too. You guys are my people. That's what I'm talking about. It's okay if you don't. We all have partners, or we don't. I mean, there are people in our lives that help, you know, to sort of help us with our shortcomings. But I will say right now, in the presence of the internet, that my partner absolutely never fills the ice thing. They leave it out on the counter, wait for me to do it, and it's just fine with me. We all have our specialties. I say that only because I'm refilling it right now, because I'm a good boy. Alright, so ice baths are really good. People will tell you like a million different ways to cook eggs and make sure that they can peel. I will tell you right now, there is zero way to ensure that you will peel an egg well. It's just not a thing. If you want your best chances, there are a couple things you can do to be sure that happens. One of them is use older eggs. Older eggs have dehydrated a little bit. They've lost some moisture through the permeations in their shell. And so because, ooh, that spicy pepper is going good. Because of that moisture loss, the inside sac, every egg has a little inside sac, it's already started to pull away from the shell already. So when you go to boil it, that's going to shrink away from the shell. And then when you shock it in an ice bath, it's going to shrink even more. So boiling cold eggs, that's going to create a shock where they get smaller. Ice bath is going to create a second shock where they get smaller, and then the older they are, the better, which is kind of counterintuitive. But I found that generally an egg straight out of a chicken, you're never getting that peel off. It doesn't want to, because it thinks it's an egg. It's like, I got to survive. But the older it gets, the less it sort of is inclined to be a pain in the butt. Most of the eggs you get from the grocery store are fairly old, so they're usually a good place to start. But it's not guaranteed. I've had old eggs that peeled horribly. I've had new eggs that slipped right out of their shell. So you never really know. But the best thing you can do is hot water, cold eggs, cold ice bath after. If you do that, you're going to give yourself the best chances. So that's what we're going to do right now after I get these mushrooms in here to start cooking. So I've got a mix of, question?
I steam the eggs.
Oh yeah, steaming them is really good as well. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. Steaming them is a really great way as well.
Vegetables. And
Yep.
it's 15 minutes before eggs.
Yep.
And just the regular with it, I haven't had a problem.
Yep, yeah.
I do run them under hot water when I'm doing it.
Yes, yeah, that helps a lot too. I totally forgot about steaming. That's actually really. How did I forget about that? You just like unlocked. So I worked down in Asheville and we did a deviled egg competition down there, and we chose to do a crawfish étouffée egg, and so I had to peel a lot of eggs for experimentation, and we kept running into like problems because we're trying to display these, so we want perfect eggs, and we eventually landed on steaming as the most effective method, and I had completely forgotten about that until just now. I'm so excited you mentioned that. Steaming works really well. That is the best way to cook them. Hot steam, cold eggs, cold water bath after. How could I have forgotten about that? Oh, that's so exciting! It just unlocked like a whole like year of my life that I've forgotten about. Yeah, steamed eggs is where it's at. They are they will do really, really well. You just can't do as many depending on what you've got available. As far as turn this down, this is looking really good. As far as what you like, what kind of pot you have, like if you steam, yeah, you can steam a pretty good amount of eggs, I guess. The big thing is you want to get them in the steam bath as soon as possible, and then you need to make sure it stays boiling and continues to boil, or else you're gonna for soft-boiled eggs specifically. Hard-boiled eggs is a lot easier because you're not trying to like hit a particular point. But with a soft-boiled egg, you want to cook the outside by keeping the middle in soft, and so you need to like have that time and temperature stable. But yeah, for hard boils, it's less concerning because if you overcook them a little bit, it's not a problem. But with soft boils, it's 6 minutes like on the dot. And you'll actually see I cooked some yesterday because I didn't want to have you guys watch me peel 18 eggs. Those ones are like really soft. When I cut them in half, they're gonna just like gush, which is honestly kind of perfect for ramen because then that yolk gets in the broth and mixes in, and it gets that sort of carbonara thing going. It's awesome. Okay, so mushrooms. 15 minutes for hard boil will work fine. Anywhere between 6 and 15 minutes, depending on how you like your eggs cooked, basically. Yeah, that would work fine. You basically want to keep them out of the water if you're steaming them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think for steamed, 6.5 is better. With boiled, 6 is better because you've got more direct contact. So that's going again. I'm going to go ahead and put these in here and set my timer. So one thing really cool you can do with eggs when you're doing this for ramen is after you've steamed them, you can either crack the shell all over and then soak them in like tea or soy sauce and get like really cool patterns, or just take the shell off and soak them in tea or soy sauce. You get really, the outside gets like very dark and also seasoned. So then when you cut it, you have this beautiful like dark outside, the nice white interior, and then the beautiful like runny yellow yolk. This is actually a great opportunity. Does anybody not want a soft-boiled egg? Would they prefer it hard-boiled? Because the broth is going to cook it too. Okay, I got hard-boiled. Okay, cool. So actually, I'm just going to hard-boil this whole set, and then the ones in the fridge will be the soft-boiled. So that's great. Perfect. So in that case, we're going to change it. I'm going to go for 9 minutes. Again, I'm doing in the water, so it's going to cook a lot faster. How do I get rid of this? I need a tech time! Ah, there we go. Cool. Let's go 9 minutes from right now. That should be easy hard boil. Great. So that actually makes my life easier. I don't have to worry about them, and I am gonna get these guys out. Let them start to come a little bit to temperature. So I cooked a bunch of these. You can see how I did not do great on the peeling, but these are fairly not fresh eggs, but they're. Oh my gosh, one of them froze. That's crazy. Our fridge is crazy. But you can see this guy right here is nice and jiggly. And that's because the inside is soft boiled. Some of these are a little bit more cooked than others, but they're going to be great on the ramen. I'll deal with those in a bit. Alright, so we're just cooking this down. So the mushrooms are on the back side of the sheet, if you guys hadn't noticed that already. So we're cooking them in some oil, and we're just going high temperature, and I'm just letting them sit. I'm not touching them. You saw maybe that I pushed them down in the pan as much as possible. This is more mushrooms than I would probably want to cook in this pan, but I'm going to counteract that by just letting them sit for longer. And then I'll give them a stir, I'll let them sit again. And in the meantime, while they're sitting, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our glaze together here. So I did. This is an 8-ounce serving. I did do 16 ounces here because this is also one of my favorite things to have, just in general, mushrooms. So we're gonna up all the parts here on this dish. So let's go. So where's our? I'm gonna start with the hoisin first. This is a fairly liquid hoisin, and I bought this one on purpose. Most of the time, hoisin is more of like a paste. This one's fairly liquidy, and I did that because I'm going to be using it for this glaze. So I'm not. Oh, it smells so good. This is one of my favorite sauces ever. Scallion pancakes, which I know some of you are very big on, will sometimes come with hoisin, and it's just like you dip them in, you make little sandwiches with the red pork. I could eat that forever. Okay, so we're doing 3 tablespoons, so that's going to end up being 9 teaspoons. So I'm just going to go ahead and start ladling that out right now. And a little more. God, that's so good. I just gotta, yeah. I actually have never used this brand, but I like picked up the bottle and shook it, and I was like, ooh, that's what I want. That liquid flavor is really, liquidness is really good. Oh, it's the same one as our tamari, Sanji or Sanjay. It's really good. They make a really, really nice tamari. So tamari is soy sauce without any wheat in it, so it's just made from soy. A lot of modern day soy sauce is mostly wheat or only wheat. It doesn't actually even have any soy in it anymore, because soy sauce tastes really good. Soy sauce tastes really good too, but wheat soy sauce tastes like wild. It's like chemically, it blows your mind. So this stuff is really good because it's pure soy. It also means it's gluten free, which is really great for those of us who might be GF. This is like the most accessible meal we'll probably ever make at the library today. Gluten-free and vegan. So again, we're doing a tablespoon here, but then I'm doubling it. Wait, did I do that right?
You tripled it over. No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I gotta put more. I gotta go back and put more in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going
You
6.
said 9 teaspoons.
Yeah, I know.
You mean 9 tablespoons, but then.
No, yeah, I didn't do it right. So it's 6 teaspoons then, because I'm doubling the soy sauce. I'm gonna go back and get more hoisin. I thought this looked small. I was like, I'm gonna fill this thing up, and then I didn't. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yes, you did just 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just gonna go back in there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Perfect. That looks more appropriate. And this is a this is a lot of sauce for the amount of mushrooms, but that's okay. When you get char siu, it's very, very, very seasoned. The outside is like bright red sometimes from the sauce they use to season it. We want this to be heavy seasoned. We are making condiments, not sides. You know, I mean they're similar, but we really want to like over season them because that way they'll be able to fight against the broth and sort of shine in their own light when it comes time to eat them with our ramen. And having them over seasoned like this too, especially with something like this that's really full of a lot of umami and deep sort of meaty flavors, is going to help these mushrooms really start to taste like the meat that they're trying to emulate. Cool, we're just going to let that sit. All right, great. And then we're going rice vinegar next. Same situation. I might have to get a different bowl. Perfect. And mirrin as well. Again, you can use maple syrup or any sort of sweetener you want, including just sugar. This is barely gonna fit. All right, so we've got hoisin, soy sauce, rice vinegar, mirrin, and then we're gonna do some 5-spice and some garlic powder. So Chinese 5-spice is a really nice spice. I've used this a lot of different times in various different things. It is a lot of warm spices, so this one's cinnamon, anise, fennel, ginger, clove, and licorice root. Some of them also have black pepper in there, and they sometimes change the specific ingredients, but it's usually cinnamon, anise, ginger, and clove. Those are like the for sure ones. This somehow has 6. I'm not sure why they put licorice root in there. Maybe as like a anti-caking or something. And so I'm saying half teaspoon. We are doubling this, so I'm going to go ahead and put that full teaspoon in there. This is going to give us some really nice flavors. A lot of times this is in the same seasoning that would be used on the pork for the char siu, so that's going to help sort of bring it together and sort of trick our minds. And then some garlic powder. which I forgot to get out. Again, a teaspoon of that. And I got this tiny little whisk here, which will be really nice at breaking that all up, and hopefully I can keep it all in this bowl. Let's go. Tiny, tiny, tiny stirs. That's the trick. When you don't have a lot of space, you want to disturb the surface tension as little as possible. So you do tiny, tiny little stirs. I'm used to them being out by now. 2 minutes for the hard-boiled eggs. I'm like, oh no, we forgot about them, but we're good. Oh, this is going to be so good. Perfect. Oh yeah. Whew. Oh, that's going to be tasty. Ice bath ready for these eggs in just a couple minutes. We are in general getting pretty close to being ready to eat here, guys, already. I don't know what time it is. How did we do so far? Not bad. So I'm just trying to find any of these mushrooms that maybe didn't get a lot of contact with the pan. Make sure they're nice and in contact with it, so they get their last sort of chance to get browned up. We'll let that sit for one more time before we glaze it. Right now I'm basically just trying to cook all the moisture out of these mushrooms. So right now I can hear a little bit of the moisture. I'm hoping that the sound sort of just changes. It's going to go more from sort of bubbly to more like sizzly. The pitch is going to go up, and that's going to tell me that there's less moisture in the pan, and that's when I'll put the glaze in there and have it go to town. In the meantime, I'm just going to clean up a little bit, get ourselves ready for service. So we're going to go in here, turn that up a little bit now that the top's off. Great, I'm just going to crack a couple of these while I wait for my timer to go off. How much time is it? Oh no, it just went off. Haha, never mind. Hard-boiled eggs done. Alright, some tongs so I can take them out of the water. Okay, awesome. So I got these in some cold ice water here. That's going to shock the heat out of them and also stop the cooking process, which is super important for soft-boiled eggs, but slightly less important for hard-boiled. With hard-boiled, like, you know, if you overcook them, the yolk can change color. You'll get like sort of yellow around the yolk, which is never that appetizing, but it's not going to ruin the egg. Like, once it's cooked, it's cooked.
That greeny quality, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's usually from overcooking. I believe it has something to do with oxygen getting in, because like the egg itself, when it gets cooked like that, is like flapping around in the shell, and so oxygen gets in. I'm not 100% on that though. So yeah, the moisture's almost completely out of these, so I'm going to go ahead and get that glaze in there. I mean, you're never going to get all the moisture out of mushrooms unless you straight up dry them. But this is, you can see the pan is pretty much dry at this point, so that's perfect. Let's go ahead and get that glaze in there. Oh yeah, baby. And we are going to cook these. I'm going to cook these in the glaze for a good bit until that, until I get basically the same thing and the glaze has started to stick to the mushrooms. I do want to, that's why I did this last, because it's basically going to ruin my pan. Not ruin my pan, I'll be able to clean it easily, but I wouldn't want to like reuse this pan on the line, for instance. If I was in a restaurant, it would kind of be very much sticky and not great for doing anything. But our other sauces have been a lot more accessible, so. Great. Ooh, yeah, baby. Perfect. Perfect. Then we just need to come back up to temp and we'll be rocking over there. So I'll let these cool a little bit. I'm going to cut these eggs in half. That's going to be our mushrooms later, and we're like pretty much good to go. I'm going to start cleaning up. Would anybody want more spice specifically? Yeah, I'll leave some of this out then. Great. Actually, you know what? I got this perfect little guy for it. Perfect. I'm gonna start cleaning up. Make us plenty of space over here. I'm gonna make our tare as well right now, so we'll be ready to season our broth. Rice vinegar, sesame oil. Don't need these anymore. I'm gonna leave some soy sauce out. If you want more salt, go for it. Put as much in there as you want. Same with the hoisin. This one's pretty liquidy, so it should dissolve okay in the broth. Feel free to season it however you want. We're just gonna go over, this is furikake. I think that's how you say it. So this is, it's nori that's been shredded, and then there's also sea salt and I think garlic powder and sesame seeds in there. So it's a really great topping put on top of rice, but it's also really, really good on top of ramen. That's gonna be over here as well. I'll keep this just in case I need more broth. These are going good. Starting to thicken up, nice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the rest of our toppings out, and then I'll make the tare. Actually, I'll make the tare first, and then we'll make our toppings. So this is white miso. I really like white miso. It's probably my favorite of the misos. There's lots of different kinds. It can be made with pretty much any kind of protein. In this case, I believe it is soy. It's just soybeans. But you can make it with chickpeas. You can make it with black beans. I mean, you can make it with pretty much anything. They have it cut up for making soup. This particular brand is made in the U.S. down in Asheville, actually, which is really great. I remember getting it down in Asheville and being like, "Oh, I remember this," blah blah blah, and not realizing that it was made locally until I like met the guy who made it. I was like, "Holy crap!" So this stuff is really good. It's one of my absolute favorite flavors. This with just a little bit of rice vinegar and some white soy, which is a very particular type of soy that's used usually in like crudos. It's one of my favorite dressings for you putting on like raw fish. You take them up, you whisk them up. It's really good. You can kind of fake it with normal soy, but it doesn't look as good. It's like brown and kind of ugly. When you mix it with white soy, it's got this beautiful sort of like brown color, light brown color. It's really, really amazing. But we're gonna go ahead and make our tare right in here. I basically just need to liquefy this. It's pretty pasty right now, and so I want it to be something that I can that is going to dissolve a lot better in hot broth. And miso is already pretty good at dissolving in hot broth, but it's a little bit tacky, a little bit sticky. Sometimes if you don't watch it, you'll get like little clumps, which honestly are really tasty. I absolutely love miso. Like I will eat it straight, no problem. Oh, so good. But we're going to try and avoid that by starting the process. And so we're going to add a little bit of rice vinegar in here. And you could put it like this would be an okay tare by itself as a seasoning, but for me, I always like to add, especially since we're doing a vegetable broth here and we don't have anything that's really fatty. I like to put some fat into my tare as a way to add some of that fat into the broth. If I was doing like a tonkatsu, I wouldn't really bother with this at all. Probably I would just use the straight miso because that's already fatty. It's got a lot of flavor profile already. But we're using just like a store-bought basic veggie broth, so I want to make sure that I add a little bit extra in here. So I'm using some sesame oil in here. Is anybody allergic to sesame before I go any further? Good, great, awesome. So I'm probably going to use the rest of this, but we'll see what I can fit in this little container. Let's get it going first, and then we'll see if we can get in there. So I'm just going to sort of work through here. I probably should have just done this in a bigger bowl, but I hate making dishes if I don't have to. So we're just going to work through here. Cut that liquid in, and you'll see that the paste will start to turn into, it's still going to be a paste, but it'll be a little bit much easier to work paste, and that's what we're looking for. So it becomes a lot easier when you guys go to put it in your broth, or when I put it in your broth. I will be doling this out to you guys myself, because it's the first thing that goes into the dish. You start with your tare, then your broth, and your noodles. Sometimes tare noodles broth, depending on who's making it, but we're going to go tare broth noodles. This one, miso.
Miso.
Yeah, miso, white miso. So miso is a fermented product as well. It is usually beans. It's fermented using usually a rice grain that's inoculated with a fungus. What's it called? Kari, something that starts with a K, I think. Anyways, it's a very particular rice grain you get. You mash the beans up with that rice grain, and it's the same rice grain, I believe, that they use for fermentation on soy sauce as well. It's just that it's a paste, so it's kind of like the paste version of soy sauce almost. These are getting nice and good. I may have gone a little overboard on the liquid, but that's okay. We're gonna let it go to town. It will reduce eventually. I think this stove just doesn't get quite as hot as my one back home, so. All right, let's try and get the rest of this oil in here. This is how stubborn I am. I should have just put this in another bowl. Come on, Chris, get your stuff together. All right, and a little bit of this rice vinegar as well. I'm gonna put the sesame oil out here, just the last of it. If anybody wants to put a little bit on top, it'll make a really nice sort of like oil slick, which is really fun. But just do that if you really like sesame, because the flavor is pretty intense. Yeah, there we go.
Do they sell that as a pumpkins, like miso?
Sorry, what?
Do they sell that miso in commercial pumpkins?
Yep. Yeah, Miso Master is what it's called. It's the only domestic miso I know of, at least. And it's honestly one of the best misos I've ever had. It's one of the only ones you can really get in any like large supply without going to like an actual like Asian grocery store. But yeah, it's really, really nice, and like I said, it's domestically made, which is awesome. Yeah, that's looking perfect. Okay, great. So that's about 24 servings, I would say, and we're gonna try and keep it to about a teaspoon each. So when I make your bowls, I'm just gonna sort of do one of that and plop it in there. I'm gonna probably start doing that now if we get some time to. All right. Oh, this is so nice. Great. These I would not put straight into your ramen. Great for soft for like salads and stuff, but not exactly a direct add. Oh yeah, that's almost done. That's starting to get nice and thick. Okay, beautiful. So let's go ahead and get these eggs peeled and get these ones cut in half. We'll be good to go on them. So for peeling eggs, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I like to have water available when I'm doing it. I like to go all the way around the shell, if I can. We're gonna see how we did. These are really fresh, which is nice. Like I just took them out of the water, so they should peel pretty good, and it looks like they are peeling pretty good, which is nice. One thing you'll find with hard boils too is you'll usually have this little dimple because you've cooked out more, you've cooked the egg more, so it's shrunk more. So that's also a really, really helpful place to start your peel. And I always end up ending at one of the caps, but I would avoid that if you can, because it can create suction, and then when you go to peel it off, you take a whole piece of the egg with it. So I like to try and start at the caps and work towards the middle, but I always forget to do that once I start. Yeah, these ones turned out pretty good. Not too shabby. So you can see if I had to do this 18 times, it would not be as fun, right? 6 times is pretty good though. It's proof positive that this works. And I didn't steam them. Steaming obviously would have been great, but doing it right when they come out of the water makes your life so much easier. You can tell, you can see like this. I did 9 minutes. And that's just because I want these like cooked what I think is going to be perfect for ramen, because the ramen broth is going to cook them more, right? So I don't want to overcook them. Yeah, cold eggs in there, and so you can see there's like this little like film. Once you get your finger under that, it's all about just like using the soft part of your thumb to sort of get under the shell, and the shell will tell you when it's ready to go. If it doesn't want to go, too bad. Eat the shell. It's fine. You can eat the shell. They're delicious. They're a little crunchy, but they're perfectly good for you. Lots of calcium in there. You can actually take the eggshells, crunch them down, and you got calcium carbonate to make more ramen noodles. So. If I'm doing hard-boiled egg, I actually, Oh, I do a kind of an awkward method. I don't cook a lot of hard-boiled eggs, but when I do it, I do boiling water. I put them in the boiling water for 4 minutes, and then I turn the water off, and I let them sit for like 12. It's like I don't know. It's not a real method. Don't imitate it.
I've heard of putting them in boiling water and turning them off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I usually do for me, exactly. And then you just kind of let them sit, and that's going to get you a nice. It makes the protein differ, right? If you cook them in boiling water, the protein is going to be very dense and hard and jiggly. If you cook them in like steaming water, basically, the protein is going to be a little bit softer, so you almost get like sort of soft boiled texture, but hard boiled cookedness. And this is for the whites specifically. The yellows are never changing if you're going to go hard boiled. They're going to be yellow, hard boiled yellows. Oh yeah, almost done. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to get my first batch of noodles in, and we're going to be going. It's going to be rush mode. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I've never had to serve 24 dishes of ramen at once. It's okay. You guys are pretty cool and patient. I'm sure it'll be fine. Ooh, this one was nice. Yeah, if you get really lucky, you can just literally take the whole thing off. So hard boils are a lot easier than soft boiled, mainly because the soft boiled eggs are so squishy, but it's gonna work out great in the end. Okay, let's get some noodles in there. The noodles take about 4 minutes, so I am going to put them in there, and I'm going to start getting some tare ready. Mushrooms are almost done. Let's see. I can probably fit 4 of those, so we'll do 8 at a time. 17 eggs. Okay, I'm going to cut some in half then. I was like, we just give whole eggs, but that's not. Alright, this is almost done. Starting to get like, when I put my pan on, it doesn't all come together right away, which is perfect. That's what we're looking for. I love mushrooms because you can just cook them forever, and they just put up with it. They do not mind one bit. Again, I'm using just basic ramen that you can get in the store, but I'm not using the seasoning packet. I'm just using the noodles. Setting my timer for 2 minutes. I'm just going to start portioning out my tare right now into these bases. So about a tablespoon per should be good. It doesn't have to be exact. I just want to make sure I have enough for everybody. And this is just the miso paste mixed with some rice wine vinegar, seasoned rice wine vinegar, and a little bit of sesame oil as well. And I chose the sesame oil because I really like that extra fat that it's going to add in here. I'm actually just going to probably lay these all out if I can. I think I'm going to cut your eggs to order. So if you want an egg, just tell me and I'll cut it as is, because I think that's going to be the easiest way to get this done. This is going to be fun. I feel like I'm in a kitchen and laying out this many dishes all at once. It's awesome. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to call the mushrooms. They're going to be good enough like that. $20. Wait, no, that's 24, right? We'll do 24 for now. I can make some more later if I need to. The timer is about to go off. One thing you get when you work in the kitchen for a long time is a really good internal clock, especially if you're a baker. I was a baker when I first started cooking at Morning Glory, and I like still to this day will like test myself and be like, all right, how accurate can I get to 2 minutes or 1 minute? Oh yeah, baby. So I'm going to go ahead and broth these first ones. There should be 8 of them. Let's just get back to them right now. So I was hoping that miso would dissolve a little bit better after the torture I put it through, but it has decided to be a bit of a pain in the butt. So when you get these, do just make sure to take your spoon and just mix it up a little bit. It should be no problem. They shouldn't be as chunky as like fresh miso would be. There we go. That one broke up a little bit better. Alright, we'll go with that for now. Move these out of the way. Let's see, do I have a fork? Oh, it's not a little whisk.
Now the mushrooms are not spicy, right?
No, they shouldn't be. There we go. That one looks like it needs a little more. Perfect. I am gonna sacrifice. Well, not sacrifice. I gotta try one of these to make sure we're doing okay here on the seasoning. Oh yeah. Yes. Sorry, what's that?
You're making the ramen noodles with plain old water.
Plain old water, correct.
Why couldn't you cook it in broth?
You could, but it just for this particular application, it would not work out so well. We'd end up with a very, very sticky broth that had a whole bunch of starch in it. So this is more for doing en masse. If I was doing this at home, yeah, 100% you could cook it in the broth. No problem there whatsoever. So this should get me about 8. I'm just gonna keep splitting them up. If you feel like you want more noodles, I should have some extras for the last batch, but I'm just trying to set these up as even as possible. This is 5 packs of ramen. Each one, essentially, the plan was to have each one be 2 people. And so I did one extra one just to make sure I've got a little bit of extra noodles in case something goes wrong, but it seems like we're gonna hit 8 here, no problem. Whatever I want. Do you want them? You're welcome to them. If anybody does want them, they're there. I can bring some out. You can even put some in your ramen if you wanted to. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, perfect, great. And then that'll be my extra. So yeah, so I'm getting 9 out of 5. That seems about right. I like that. Right, I'm gonna plate these mushrooms. I'm gonna put some more noodles in. I'm gonna plate these mushrooms, and then we can start eating, guys. Timer on again. Let's get these mushrooms out of this pan. So it's going to be a little bit slow going, so feel free to start coming up, guys, in the back. We'll start in the back as we usually do, and you guys can just start making your ramens. I started the left over here. I'll try to put all the bowls over there, and then just sort of work your way down. Tongs for the mushrooms. Work your way down. Take as many of the toppings as you like. Obviously, try and make sure that you save enough for everybody who is coming after you. So again, start down here. Oh, somebody can move that spoon if they want to.
What spoon?
Oh, sorry, the stool. Start down here, work your way down the line, and I'm just gonna keep making ramen over here. And then if you want an egg, just tell me, and I will egg you.
Extra bowl. So what? Go this way?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And egg will be last
This
thing.
is
So
all the toppings for 24 people.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
you
just checking. I don't want to take
Yeah.
too much.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, they should be. Again, they're condiments really more than toppings, and
Yep,
you'll
yep.
want to have. Oh wait, shoot.
What?
They're not all the toppings.
Oh my God.
Who am I over here? Guys, I got too into it. We got so many more toppings.
Oh God. Yes.
Woohoo! All right, so I've got some imitation crab here. Normally, you would find imitation crab in the form of a small little fish cake, so it's a little like spiral red and white fish cake, but we're using just imitation crab for today. I've got, as I said, American cheese slices. Please do not hesitate to try them. I'm telling you, it's really good. I've got some bean sprouts, which are really nice. I would put those on potentially first.
What is imitation crab made of?
It's made of cod usually, so it's just it's just fish basically.
I'm sorry, Chris. What's this and what's this? This is sesame?
That's furikake. So it's sesame seeds and seaweed.
And what's the little red stuff?
That's chili paste, chili powder.
Okay.
And there's some pickled ginger here as well.
Way too many choices.
I know, that's the best. This is what ramen's all about. Okay, stirring those noodles. Those are looking good.
Start there and walk this. I don't know why, but that's what you have to do.
I gotta spread these toppings out more. And then what's the last one? Oh, some tofu.
Oh, I would love a hard-boiled egg. Does that come on?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I probably should have done more service before I started serving, but I was like, let's go, let's get it eating.
All these choices. I will go to that. What do people have?
Definitely don't worry about the time. Take your time when we get the toppings right. You get the one shot at it, so you got to make sure it's perfect. All right, hard-boiled eggs are coming. You'd like a hard-boiled egg?
Yes, everyone.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Don't hesitate to ask me for eggs. I am here for them. Soft boiled, yep.
Soft for me too.
Soft for you too, awesome. Just gonna get some tofu out there. I totally forgot I had all this stuff. I was like keeping it in the fridge because I wanted it to stay cold, but I totally kind of made it so I forgot about it, which is not ideal. Soft boiled for you all. These guys are so crazy.
Oh, wow, that's
Thank you. Of course. Get that on there. Oh, this is so exciting. I kind of feel like I'm on a line right now. I'm like, I gotta get my dishes out.
There's so many things.
I know, that's kind of the hope. I want everybody to feel a little overwhelmed.
Yes, I totally do. You made it. This is tofu.
Tofu.
Oh.
Okay, let me get these done. Yeah, we're going to do some more.
Do you want me to push these out?
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
I appreciate you. I'll take a soft boiled egg when you get.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, now's a great time actually. Of course. Let's go.
But I wanted like just half a slice of fruit before you just the same idea. And I'll leave half, just without touching.
Yeah, you got it. You guys are all friends.
Yeah.
We're all buddies now.
I'll be very careful.
Don't be bashful about eggs. If you want eggs, just ask. I did cook a bunch. I just didn't cut them up, but I can start putting them out. Oh yeah. Toss them down the end.
Well, it's all there. It's all there.
Did you want an egg, Ellie?
Sure.
Did you say forks? Oh yeah, good call. I did need to put those out too. I'm getting backed up. Slack. Yes. No, I
He's the
don't.
ramen chef for Times People. So he's one of the PBS.
Okay.
And every once in a while I'm in the mood, I'll watch him because he's great. He's, he's Creole.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Mushrooms
he's
smell
one
so
of the
good.
TV chefs. I don't know if that's what this guy was talking about. But he'll put this big spoon.
Did you want an egg?
He'll put the big spoon in while he's cooking, and then he'll pour
Soft boiled and hard
really
boiled?
is.
Yum, yum, yum.
I got this boy right here.
This was delicious, thank you.
Of course. Do you want more?
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Delicious.
I only thought about my service plan for this. I really was like, yeah, it'll be fine. The flow will go really good. But I got ahead of myself, which is you should never do. Never go until you have your mise en place together. That's the lesson here.
So the next 2 weeks.
Now, what is this, Chris? I forgot.
That is kimchi cabbage. So
Oh, kimchi
like
cabbage.
so it's a little spicy. Definitely that's like our spicy dish, spicy side, I would say.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to slurp and make noise. It's considered incredibly kind to the chef.
Incredible. Wow, what a treat.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm happy I was able to supply. That's honestly the best part of cooking, is being able to cook for us.
And then a little piece of, oh no, napkin. Oh, there it is.
I'm not sure.
No, what are you asking?
What is that?
That's the cabbage.
Well, that's the cabbage.
You need a noodle comb back there, huh?
Oh, what's that?
You need a noodle comb.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, of course. You know, my friend. Yeah, please do. Gotta try it on. You can always come back for more sides if there's more left over too. It is. It should be pretty. There should be enough for everybody. No problem.
I'll take a softball.
Softball, you got it. Of course. Pretty good. How's it? How did I do, guys? Did I do okay?
Amazing.
All right, good. It's usually good when I can't hear anybody talking after, but just double checking. You know, I gotta check it out. Yeah, I didn't leave you guys much space. Here, we can kind of push these back now, actually.
The way I did, the way I
Have an egg, please?
Yeah, soft or hard?
Doesn't matter, whatever you have.
Oh, I got plenty sauce.
Okay.
What would you like, Jay? Soft boiled egg, you got it, my dude. You haven't been a huge rush on them, so you're welcome to 2 halves if you like.
Is this tofu?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay,
You never have too much tofu.
There's still some mushrooms in there. Yeah, spoons should be over there. There was a whole bunch of spoons somewhere. Oh, here they are. And there were forks, but they got stolen. I gotta find them now that I have some time.
I said, drop everything and come right down, but she's still missed. When it was not running half of the next day, too.
Extra spice.
Is the cabbage good and spicy?
Oh, yeah.
They got put away. Guys, if you do want forks, I'm just going to put out some metal ones. Feel free to come take them.
I do a soft boiled egg too.
Of course, yeah.
We already know that.
You want to put that bowl right over here? I'll go right in there. Oops, I dunked it.
It's gonna taste the same.
Okay. All right, sweet. Not everybody's served yet, but we're getting there. Just gonna take a quick peek here. There's just enough. We are running a little low on the mushroom. Sorry, guys, but the sauce itself will be really good in there, and there are at least like enough to have like 1 mushroom
There's a
each.
few mushrooms here. Are they probably okay?
Oh yeah, they're definitely okay. I washed this myself, so I know it's okay. It's clean as your plate. Awesome.
Is this tofu in here?
Yep, tofu ready to go. Skip, would you like an egg, hard boiled or soft?
Hard boiled.
Great. I'll just pop that in there for you. We got this another batch of noodles.
I didn't get an egg. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, what kind of?
it was.
Oh sure,
I don't
soft.
care.
Soft boileds are the bigger ones I have the most of. Woo. So soft.
Oh, they are running.
They're so runny. They're like, I did a 6-minute one, but I cooked 12 eggs at once, and I think I probably should have done a 6.5. And I knew that when I was doing it, but I did them yesterday while I was working, so I was like, we're just gonna run with it. They're really good though.
The only time I could handle soft-boiled eggs was when I was pregnant.
It's like a sunny side up. The ones I made are like sunny side up boiled eggs.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. There's things that
change. Yeah, a lot of flavor profiles. I know people have like stopped liking spicy food or started liking spicy food when they were pregnant. There's all sorts of different sort of ways that things can go when the body changes up like that. Thank you. Get in there. All right, last batch of noodles goes in.
hard-boiled egg.
Yes, you got it. Would you like 2 halves?
Is there enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
A hard-boiled one, please.
Hard boiled, you got
So it
it.
says I didn't have time for lunch.
Yeah.
Would you like 2 halves as well?
I think it.
Yeah. You guys are the last few. No mushrooms, but you get extra egg.
Get extra whatever else is.
Yeah, exactly. The mushroom sauce is, like I said, will be really good. It's kind of its own tare in its own sense if you wanted to use that.
Crab.
Yeah, that's the crab. Yeah, I love that in ramen. Honestly, that's one of my favorite things.
never
Just
done that.
period. I absolutely love it.
Now, hon, is the corn very spicy?
No, it shouldn't be. It's just black pepper spicy. So, you know, depending on how you, some people, black pepper can be really spicy. It depends. Some people who like don't give a crap about chili spice, the black pepper is actually really spicy because it's a fully different chemical. So,
Just use a little bit.
yeah, just as much. It's more smoky than anything else. That'd be the big thing you want to worry about.
And now is
Did almost perfect on his broth. That's
You don't
nice.
take this, right? 'Cause that's
No.
the spicy.
Yeah, that's the spicy one.
That's the real spicy one. You don't put the tare in the broth. I was
What's
gonna
that?
ask him
You
too.
don't
Why
put the
can't you
tare
put the
in the
tare
broth.
in there? No?
No, I mean you totally could. It's just that so classically you would be serving this in like to a whole bunch of people.
Yep.
And so you would have a whole bunch of broth and then a whole bunch of tare, but they wouldn't necessarily be the right ratios to cook them all together. And the tare tends to be a lot more a lot of times can be really gentle. Like miso, for instance, you shouldn't boil, whereas my broth it's totally fine to boil. So that's usually why it's depending on what dish it is. One kind of ramen might have a tablespoon of tare, while the other one has a tablespoon and a half, just because it's meant to be more spicy because of the toppings. So that's the main reason why, is that you really are seasoning each dish to flavor what might be going on top. And then I guess in this situation, I totally probably could have done it, but and that would have been really smart. I wish I had had your insight on that one. But my brain was just stuck in that like
Oh, okay.
in-service ramen mode. I was like, you have to.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I think
You
that
could
would
put
have
the
been.
miso in there.
I think that would have been really smart. Yeah, exactly.
Do you still have a hard boil?
I sure do. I got 2 halves if you want them.
Sauce
Same for me.
Soft
Okay.
or hard?
Hard.
Me. I want soft.
Awesome. Soft for you.
Thank you.
Hard for you.
Tofu.
Thank you.
Of course.
You're
Doing great. Great on eggs.
Tofu. Could
Yeah, this one's
you
kind
slice
of.
this a little smaller?
Yeah, I can get this
I
one.
like the tofu, but
Is that better? Just like in half is good?
Thank you.
It's almost, that's like the same you'd have in miso broth. Soft soup anyway. Yeah, it is. I'm really happy I found these big bowls. Can you imagine those like normal bowls that we have?
Is that what you were looking at?
They would have gone everywhere. What's that?
Is that what you were looking at originally? Normal bowl?
Yeah, do you guys remember? Like,
Yeah, I know what they look like.
try to serve them in this? I don't even know if I have any up here. I don't. That would have been wild. It would not have been a fun experience.
He was like
Garbage.
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
String coming out of it. Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Where's the soy sauce?
Soy's right here.
Mirrin. That's artificial crab meat.
Yeah, which is cod
You
meat
know what that
basically.
tastes like.
Yeah, we
It's
know.
good. It's sweet, delicious. I like it a lot.
Right, and this is the nori, right?
Yeah, nori with furikake is what they call it.
Ginger.
Give it a try. It's usually you usually have it with sushi, but it's a very good. It's a good dish. Good for this as well.
Is it stronger than the kimchi with the red pepper?
It's not spicy at all. I mean,
Oh.
it's like ginger spicy, right? It's
Oh, I
kind of
know,
sweet.
okay.
It's almost like candy kind of.
I have never had ramen tofu before.
What, really?
In my life.
Oh, I'm so excited to be your first.
That's right. And they have so many different forms and toppings.
Yes. It's why they're so fun. Like for me, like ramen night is usually like clean out my fridge night. Like,
yes, yeah.
what do I have that I need to get rid of? What is the meat? And you can put anything there. Like even deli meat is great on ramen. Like you cannot go wrong.
Yeah, no, I've already.
Ellie, did you want an egg?
Yeah, but I have a lot of sauce. I just wanted a little scoop of noodles. Is that
Oh,
okay?
I'm gonna give this to the staff probably. I can give you a little bit more, a little bit more.
Well,
But I just
no,
don't want to.
that's fine.
Okay,
Please,
cool.
Okay.
I just want to make sure the staff gets some because
Oh,
they've
why
been talking
not?
about this all week.
Of
So.
course. They look forward to it. Yes.
I'm so happy you liked it. Yeah, of course.
I know, I just have to ask this a question.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Thank you.
This is sesame with what else?
With nori seed, nori flakes, and I think usually a lot of times there's garlic powder in there as well.
Okay.
And it's called furikake.
This is this.
Yeah, that's what that is. Yep. Yeah, I really like that on just even white rice is kind of like really good.
Licorice and everything.
No, that's the Chinese five spice that went on the mushrooms.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, well, no, so it's in the mushroom sauce. If you like the mushrooms,
The mushroom was delicious.
that's probably one of the flavors that you really were enjoying there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I'm so happy you got to come.
Pepper you used in the pork.
Yeah, it was a smoked black pepper.
Oh, smoked. So
Yeah,
you didn't
so-
get that here, though.
No, I got somebody gave this to me
Oh,
at my
you
last
see, I can
cooking
see what
program,
it-
and I was like, oh, I'm going to use that.
How do you choose a dip?
Furikake. It's nori flakes.
Yeah.
I think sesame seed, sometimes garlic powder, salt, and then this one looks like there's a little bit of another lettuce in there, green lettuce in there. That's not the right. That's just yeah, it's just the Parmesan label.
And
Oh yeah. Of course.
if you're feeding a big group like that,
Yeah.
you wouldn't put the miso right into the broth.
Yeah, I think I would actually. And so my brain was fully set in this, like, when you make ramen to order, you put a specific amount of tare in depending on what's going on top, right? And so here, wasn't necessary. I could have made the tare and then just put it in there.
okay.
And I just skipped that step. I was so set on this, like,
But I like it
kitchen
like that.
brain set.
Yeah,
But yeah, you totally could have just put it in there. But yeah, normally you'd have the tare on your line, and then you'd have a bunch of different ones, and you'd have a giant pot of broth, so you can't like mix them together beforehand.
Exactly.
And a lot of the times the flavors are really gentle, so you don't want to be boiling them.
Yeah.
You want it to only be like blooming at that last moment for the aromatics as
So
well.
will it change if you add it right in?
The aromatics generally, so the oil especially, a lot of that oil aromatics you'll lose because they'll boil off.
Okay.
But the flavor shouldn't change too much.
Yeah,
It's more
'cause I
about
really could
that
taste the
smell.
sesame.
Like yeah, when I'm up here and
It's like
I'm
that.
pouring them over, I'm smelling that immediately,
Yeah.
and that's sort of part of the process. So that's the main. Those are like the two main reasons: is seasoning very specifically, and then also smelling sense. I forget there's another word for it. That smelling sense that you get from it as well is really important.
Yeah, because I
so.
do hot pot a lot, but I don't
Yeah,
do
love that.
But I like the setup even for that.
Thank you guys for coming. I'm gonna turn off the recording. I really appreciate this. This was so much fun. I even learned some stuff today. I don't remember. In March for sure. I think it's later in March because I'm going away in the beginning. If I could guess right now, it would be March 19th, but I'm not positive on that. I think it's March 19th though.
And what are you having next time, do you know?
I can't tell you, and I also don't know because we're still in flux. If you guys want to contribute, the link is still up online, but I'm not entirely sure. I have a feeling that it's going to be a Philippine dish from the Philippines. One of my friends has some Philippine heritage and gave me a recipe directly from their grandmother, so I'm really hoping to bring that into everybody's lives. We'll see how it goes, though.
That's where the noodle become a priest.
Oh, I don't know anything about that, but.
From the Philippines.
Oh, cool. Oh, great. See you later, guys.